Welcome to the nightly vid. Let's start with the indexes. We'll see SPY. It did go 2 up, but it is not an in-force pattern. And we just need to remember hammers, although they always look very nice, right? They need to be enforced for them to matter. The same with the shooters. Like we had that shooter month, a couple months ago. So it needs to be enforced. That being said, we'll see closer to the momentum shooter to the downside. So anyone that bought on Monday might get rejected. That being said, it could change us into full time frame continuity down below 560.37. So we want to be aware of that. And we do have some stuff gapping overnight, so I'm not sure how the US 500's doing. Looks like you got into 3-1 on the day. So you can watch that inside day on the futures as well. So if that inside down futures works, it would change into full time frame continuity down. We would bring us back into this range and back through it. If it starts coming the other way, we'll rev strat into full time frame continuity. So we want to be prepared both ways as normal. That being said, if we go to the Dow Jones, it's going to look similar. It did go 2 up, so it's a little stronger in the Dow to start the week, but could become 2-2 Tuesday and negate the month. So be aware of that. Qs, same thing as the SPY. Momo shooter. Then IDBM, same thing. Momo shooter. The biggest thing we want to be aware of is we are inside week, right? Volatility is still decently high. So we'll see. But when it comes to inside weeks, you just got to be aware. Whenever you're into new lows here, that's a higher low on the week, right? If you're ever into new highs, it's a lower high in the week. So we want to get out of this so we can start having a bigger range. We might get stuck in the middle. But that being said, we're closer to 2 down on Tuesday. What do we want to be looking at then? Well, let's go and take a look at our inside days because the market didn't do too much today. How many do we got? We go in here. You'll see we have 206 inside bars, and I like to go after the higher ATRs. So here it is, about 48 with higher ATRs in here. So let's take a look and see what we got. I already did see one that I really want to trade tomorrow morning. Let me move this to my other screen here. So we'll have Spotify, and let me switch over one more time. Guess we'll just leave it as is. Man, there's a beautiful gapper in GPUS today. Go and study that on the Fiverr if you want some homework. But Spotify and what? Looks like we're unlinked here. Sorry about that. 60. Sorry about this. So Spotify, we're going to see a lot of lines on this chart. All right, there it is. So inside day, we are at the top of the range. We had an outside week last week, so we'll be aware of that. And wow, it's not letting me draw this morning, or tonight, I guess. And you'll see, so we had the 3 on the week. We did have a 3-2 up month, so we prefer the upside, but it may open as a 2 down. So you could go pivot machine gun down with the week, potentially change the month and the daily signal, or if it rev strats, full time from continuity up. So we'll be prepared both ways, but I prefer the upside, like a gap down buy. That'd be cool. If we go to MPWR, let me get my list out here. MPWR inside day, you're gonna see it is a 2-2 month up, so we'd prefer it to the upside with a rev strat. But if it goes inside down, you'll have 3 of these pivots to take out. If we go to app inside day in the tech, it is 2-2 month up, so we'd prefer it up, but if you bring it in, you have these guys to take out. And since we have a gap, it may open as 2 down. We'll see. Team. Okay, so team, this is different. Inside week, full time frame continuity on the month with an inside bar shooter. So if the market's going to come in, this would take last week's lows out. This is where we'd want to be looking to take out 190.46. So team, a star on that for the downside. If we go to Dix, it's a good looking one here. So you'll see the broadening formation, triangle layout to the upside, inside bar pivot machine gun of all these guys. If that occurs, what does it create, negate, or do? Well, the first thing you'll see is it's not a 2-up month. It is at the bottom of the triangle, but if it works, we'll have the 3-week inside bar down with a 1-3-1-2 week to the downside below what 183.31 with a magnitude to 174.05. This is a beautiful trade. coming from the top of this triangle, trying to time the top of this triangle. So you can see a little bit of triangleception there. Dicks, pivot machine gun down. We'll see Reddit inside day closer to the 322 week, maybe a pivot machine gun down in there with full time frame continuity. So Reddit PMG day to get the week going. We're going to prefer that down. It's a good looking setup. And if we gap down and buy tomorrow, right, we'll be aware of that just because we want to be going both ways. Let's see. I'm going to skip over some of the names I don't really know. We do see the VIX inside day, so if that's an inside up tomorrow. We'd have a shooter last week, but it'd be counter that. And still, you know, he's stuck in the middle of the month. So how you getting out of this triangle fix? Stuck here. You have some pivots here. Maybe get a little bit of puke, but we'll see. Roku, inside day, you'll see if that breaks down. Pivot machine gun weak, full time frame continuity, Roku. And it is a gapper. We're going to star that too. Yeah, PMG day, PMG week, and full time frame continuity. Yeah. Healthcare's Exis. So Exis, you can see different. Reclaim the month, full time frame continuity up. And we'll put it in the gapper universe. Oh no, I clicked off my little list here. As always, if you skip to the end, you can get the list. We'll make sure Roku's gapper universe as well. And team is gapper universe as well. TEM. No thanks. PRCT. I've never heard of that. No thanks. Could become a weak signal, but no thank you. RMBS Technologies. No thank you, and prefer it to the upside, but looks like as we get lower, there's a lot of, you know, nobodies in here. SMMT, what, closer to an inside week up, so SMMT. We'll put it under the high vol. You see inside day momentum hammer, 60-minute PMG with a 2-2 tomorrow. Could cause an inside week, would have full time from continuity up. FIVN, you can see 3-2-2 week with a 3-1-2 day to trigger it. Never heard of it, so don't quote me on the options there, but that would be decent. I think, yeah, it looks like it's still an inside month. ASTS, you'll see ticks into the bottom or top of the broadening formation inside day. It is a 2-2 month up, so prefer that we go in that direction. Could become the 3-2-2 week back down off the inside day reversal. Pivot machine gun. SATS, and a lot of these smaller ones I'm personally just not throwing on the list, but you know, doing it for the sake of the viewers. Intel inside day already had earnings. Could become a 1-3-1-2 week as well off the inside day break. Could become PMG down or PMG up. So either which way, it is, you know, we would have rev strap month if we went up, but it's probably gonna be dependent more on NVIDIA, not NVIDIA, but AMD earnings and other chips. That is most of the inside days we want to take a look at. Now let's take a look at the shooters. And we got a lot of 2-up shooters and 2 downs, so we'll see. We'll go after the 2-up shooters first. I'm gonna try and speed things up here. You got deck, top of the broad information. I'm not sure on those options. Carmax, the shooter day for a rev strat week. Dollar Tree. That's something I'm interested in. Dollar Tree. I believe that'd be potential 3 month as well. I could be wrong. Yeah, so it's 1 penny higher, but RevStrat week, top of the broadening formation potentially with Dollar Tree, and you'll see they came in second 60 of the day, boom, 322. Aussie Dollar General, not so much. It's a little more firm. So we prefer both of those breaking the same. If you want to try and time the highs here, GRND, this Grinder, yeah. Supposedly Grinder is a very well-run company, which is, you know, crazy to me, but it's kind of funny. Let's see, XRT retail, so that's going to help with your XRT being your DICS. And that'll help with your Dollar Tree as well. And what that tells me is I want to take a look at the retail sector, which is your consumer cyclicals. So that's going to be retail, so Kava, Pizza, Deck, CarMax, Dollar Tree, Toll, KBH. Toll and KBH are home builders. You can see Toll would be a PMG, but inside month, 2 going 3 week. KBH would be a pivot machine gun week, RevStrat week to the downside off of the highs of this broadening formation here. Still an inside month though, so you gotta be aware of that. Texas Roadhouse, 322 month up, so I'd prefer that back up. But retail sector, we do see that, and I'm doing my scans here. Let's see. Zoom. Is that coming off exhaustion risk? It is not. So you prefer that coming off exhaustion risk, but it'll PMG down if we do see the tech bring them back in tomorrow. And I'm going to leave it off the list just because we don't have this simultaneous break. Although maybe you have momentum shooters. That being said, that's about all I've got here. We will have gappers, PLTR gapping, and we'll see what else we have in the morning. But they had some earnings, and if we take a look there, down $10. So we're gonna open closer to an outside week reversal and 2 going 3 month. So maybe a 3-3 in here. Should take out some of these equal lows, 63.4. So this has been a really good one to just keep watching as the months have been going on. It's, you can see, pretty volatile. So we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe gap down by, maybe not. But that being said, that's all I've got for you tonight. Here is your final list, your Gapper Universe, which is just the inside day setups. Here they are. And retail sector is one of the main focuses that we see with the potential simultaneous break, with the DICS being one of my favorites for tomorrow. Adios, everybody. I'll see you guys in the morning.